everyone, today we are going to be sharing all of the random dolls in our collection that are either kind of one-off dolls or ones that could in theory have their own collection video one day, but we just don't have enough. All of these dolls are pictured on my Flickr. You can find them either in the Miscellaneous Dolls and Toys album, or in the case of Flavas and Descendants and Katie. They all have their own albums. And I did throw my Disney Descendants in here because I have a few and I thought I'd just include them. But
eventually they'll probably have their own video someday.
So we do love all of these dolls. Not all of them have their outfits. If you want to know more about like what they're wearing or what we do have for them, or you're trying to identify dolls using this video, check out my Flickr, because that way you don't have to watch the video back and forth a million times, and you don't have to have a Flickr to view my Flickr. You can access all of my stuff on Flickr. Also, because of the nature of some of these dolls, depending on the manufacturer, some of them were like generically packaged or recycled a lot of times, so we might not know exactly who they are, and therefore not all of them have like an exact name, because some of them it's impossible to know unless you had clothing or you got them brand new or something. Without further ado, let's get to it. So we're starting with Forever Best Friends. This was a line produced by MGA in like 2004-2005, and it was kind of to compete with the Mattel We Three Friends line.
Which ironically were kind of made to compete with Bratz, because a lot of the Barbie affiliates had like the Marcy Teens dolls, the bigger heads at the time, compete with Bratz.
So they were each sold in like 2 or 3 packs. Now all 3 of mine are pajama party dolls. So we have Sana, Noelle, and Callista. I got all 3 of them together, crammed back inside a box at the flea market this year. They were sold by a seller we get a lot of box dolls from usually, and I've always been intrigued by them ever since I was a kid, and I just really don't see them used all that often. Now, they didn't all come in like one outfit, if that makes sense. So not all Noelle dolls were in this outfit, for example. You could get any combination of like 4 characters in either outfit, and I have technically like 1.5 sets. So that's why I don't have the other doll that's supposed to be wearing this. Whoever that was originally. I love them. I think they're really cute. They sit weird, but their stuff is really nice quality. And then we have my Dawn dolls. I don't have many. So this is Long Locks. I got her in 2012 on New Year's Day. We went to this flea market that was open, and Dad bought us this big bin of mangy dolls from the 70s. We call it the 70s lot. She was my first Dawn doll ever, and originally she was like half bald and in really bad shape, and there was only 2 really disgusting Dawn outfits in the bin. I decided to keep her because I felt bad for her, and I ended up partially rerouting her, so she is my favorite Dawn doll in my collection, and she changes outfits a lot because I have quite a few Dawn fashions now. So then we have first edition Dawn and second edition Angie. I got them together at this local charity store that used to be right by my dentist, and we found a lot of good things over the years, but this was probably one of the nicest finds. They were in a bag with a bunch of Dawn clothes and like Dawn imitator clothes.
Tricky Mickey.
Yep, Tricky Mickey. And then this is the Dawn and Friends Shannon. So this is kind of like a remake of Dawn dolls from 2005. There were 2 different companies that released the dolls, but they were identical, so I'm not really sure which like packaging variation mine was, but her name is Shannon, and Shannon is not one of the original Dawn characters.
And our doll's wiki complete.
Yes, and she came from the Labor Day Ladies bin. Then we have my Flavas dolls. I had a sporty, quote-unquote, Keone Brown. I want to call her Ginger because that was her name, but I don't have her anymore. I got rid of her as a teenager, which I regret. But these were kind of made to sort of compete with the Bratz dolls, and they were very short-lived. Now, they're all generically packaged, but if you watch the commercials and you like follow other Flavas collectors, they kind of give them names, so these names are not like their official packaging names, but that's the best way to denote them from one another. So this is Sporty Tika. I got her at a Salvation Army last year with my Jammin' in Jamaica Madison. I saw her and I was really excited. This is Diamonds in Denim, Happy D. I got her and actually this lovely Street Liam together at the flea market from this elderly couple we buy a lot of Monster High dolls from usually. I was really excited to get my first Flavas guy because I think they're really cool. And then this year in 2019, we got Sporty Liam, Diamonds and Denim Liam, and Party Tray, all boxed for $5 each from this guy at the local flea market who sells a lot of toys.
She went to the ATM because we were a few dollars short, but then the ATM wasn't working and the guy was nice and let us have them for a couple bucks cheaper.
Yeah. But they're all really cool. I think he looks kind of like Eminem. And Colleen's favorite is Party Tray.
Probably. I mean, he's got those eyes. He's so cute.
He's really adorable.
He's got like a pouty face.
So then we have my two ideal toys dolls. So there was the Tammy line that came out in the 60s around the time Barbie first made an appearance. They were kind of like Barbie's more youthful competitors. And Ted was my first Tammy doll. We got him this year at the Salvation Army. We went in there one day and he was just sitting in this bin all by himself for like $2. And I fell in love with his face. I love collecting male dolls. Ever since I was a kid, I've just been drawn to guy dolls. I felt really bad for him. So I had a feeling he was from the Tammy line. And I don't know how I knew that because, like, honestly, I was never into Tammy dolls previously. But I looked at him and I'm like, yeah, I think he's like Tammy's brother or boyfriend. And I nailed it. He is Tammy's brother.
Ted.
And we call
Tammy's
him
family, Ted.
Dalbert Stack. He's made appearances in our skits before because we just love how he looks.
He's just so cute.
And then Tammy over here, we got a few months later in the Oldie Moldies lot. If you follow my Dolly Transformations videos, then you would remember the lot that was covered in mold. And Tammy was covered in mold. She had it like on her face and on her body, but it all came off. And this Tammy Fashion was actually in the lot with her. She was a lot older than the 90s Barbies, so we're assuming she was like a hand-me-down from the child's mother. And I was really excited to reunite the family.
So cute.
And then these are all Colleen's Kidcore Katies.
So
now, just a word on Kidcore dolls. Most of the ones from the late 90s and onward do not have box dates, and most are generically packaged. There are some exceptions to this. We do have box dates for some of these. Some did have official names. So
I also want to say that I had, at some point I was really into these dolls, and I had probably about 50 of them. I pruned some like around the time we got back into dolls because we just had too many and their hair was wild. And there are some I really regret getting rid of. A lot of them I didn't care as much about.
I didn't know you could fix their hair, but you can flat iron their factory hair and it keeps nice. It doesn't frizz. If you know anything about Kidcore dolls, then you know that when you comb their hair, even if you keep it nice, it frizzes, but if you flat iron
all my childhood dolls that I still have been rerooted.
Yes.
Which is like, Shelly said that if I weeded out like some of the herd, she would reroot a handful of special ones.
I rerooted her, and these two. This is Sailboat Katie.
And I got her the same day Shelly got her African American Baywatch Barbie. And ironically, she spotted Katie and I spotted Baywatch Barbie. So we spotted what each other wanted and then we're like, oh sweet. And we got them both for really cheap, especially Katie.
She was boxed.
Kind of admit to having teared up a little bit because I just thought about how my dad used to buy me like so many Katie dolls. I'm really fond of her. I absolutely love her. She's one of my favorites.
This is Animal Care Katie. That is her official name.
And I got her bagged with like her animal center. She's really special to me. She was one of those ones that I couldn't have parted with. This is Winter Wonderland Katie.
She was sold in a set with a Jody doll and a sleigh.
And Shelly actually got me her and the doll beside her. This Kwanzaa Katie, who I named Holly.
She was just generically packaged, but they're all in their correct outfits, just so you know.
I got her two of them for Christmas that Shelly picked them out for me, which was such a pleasant surprise. This one I called Katie Kids, and she was like a bad guy, but she has like one of the prettiest faces I've ever seen on a Katie doll. Holly is also really special. Holly was probably my favorite Katie doll for a while in 8th grade. She was actually the original Katie doll I was playing with during like this month-long camping refugee game I had that we played. And then toward the end of the game, after I'd gotten bored of Holly and written her out of the cast, I got this doll.
These are, I believe they're called Poodle Katies because they were sold with dogs and they all are usually listed by what kind of dog they came with.
I got this doll. It was the spring of the year I was in 8th grade. We were out one night with Mom and Dad at, was it a Walmart?
It was Walmart.
And Shelly got her Princess Barbie that she named Crystal, and I got Katie. And I remember Dad was putting in this toilet down in the basement that he never put in. We had this unused toilet that was waiting for installation, and we like played in this unused toilet that didn't even have water in it just for fun with dolls. I was really into Katie, and then that whole summer, it was our last summer with Mom, she and Shelly's Jasmine doll went everywhere with us. By the fall, like not long after Mom passed away, Katie's arm popped off. And I didn't know at the time you could just simply body swap them. So we spent a while, it took us several weeks to find me a replacement, and that was her. This is like, besides my Molly, this is my favorite doll I have of all of them. It's actually, their faces carry on differently to me because I know them both so well. But I remember going with her and Dad to the movies, and Dad would buy me all these Katie dolls so I could use their clothes on her. She's like wicked special, like words couldn't even say, so she's my favorite. And then I actually had one of these Shenandoah Riding Club dolls just like this as a kid. And while she wasn't one I was particularly sorry I got rid of, I am glad I reunited with her. I got her in the $5 bin bonanza. This Katie, so our first Kid Core Katie that was actually originally Shelly's doll was one of these, quote, bumblebee Katies, we call them.
Yeah, the generically packaged Katie's World dolls.
And Shelly kind of got, like, done with her. She let me play with her. Shelly was really into doing what she called the Cleopatra haircut at the time, which meant when the doll's hair got too frizzy, she cut it at an angle and called it Cleopatra.
It was meant to be a bob, but it always came out longer on one side.
So she called it the Cleopatra. We made it a style. Katie had a frizzy Cleopatra, and she had some skin discolorations in several parts of her body. She was just in really bad shape, so she wasn't one I ever would have willingly parted with, like if she'd been salvageable, but she just wasn't. I ended up having to get rid of my childhood doll, and about a year ago now?
Yeah, we bought her on eBay.
Yeah, I tracked this doll down on eBay. I got her boxed, and it was so special.
Tammy, I can smell you. Smells like musty. She doesn't smell like moldy anymore, but
Ted doesn't smell that good
no,
either.
but he doesn't read.
He bunked up our container at one
maybe
point.
the two of them together are smelling weird.
Yeah.
So then we have the Moxie Teens. This was a very short-lived line produced by MGA in like 2011, 2010. So this is my only one with a wig. This is first edition Bijou. I got her this summer at the flea market from the elderly couple that I got two of my Flavas from. Always get Monster High.
Ironically, the lady said that when she was putting out dolls to sell, she had a feeling this was one of the ones we'd pick. Yeah. She knows we like the exotic
These
ones.
dolls are amazing quality. Like, I don't know what the wigs were like, but the clothes are luxurious. They came with so many different layers, and I believe I only got her for like $3. And then we have Formal Bijou. This was my first Moxie Teens doll, and she has rooted hair. There were ones that had rooted hair. Now, Colleen kept seeing these dolls on sale at Toys R Us in like 2012, 2013, and she was really curious, and finally she found Bijou for $2 at Toys R Us, and she convinced me to buy her and see what she was like, and I fell madly in love with her, so she's really special. We have first edition re-release Tristan that I got her in 2013 or 2014 at TJ Maxx for just $2. I know, it was crazy.
It's really easy to tell the real originals apart from the re-releases because she's actually rooted like Bijou.
Yes, and that's how you know. And I'm glad.
I always laugh because at some point Shelly didn't know how to list her on Flickr in the inventory, and she called her, quote, unwigged, and I'm like, wouldn't it just be easier to say rooted hair?
My Little Pony had dolls affiliated with them back in the 80s, so these were made by Kenner. So this is the 1985 Megan and Sundance, and this is the 1986 Megan and Sundance. Now, I've had Miss 85 since I was 12. We got her in a bin at the flea market with my first Classics Belle and Beast dolls, and I named her Kennedy. I had no idea who she was, but I was intrigued by her like bug-like eyes and her adorable dress, which I used on my mini Disney dolls all the time. She's one of my favorites, and that's why when I saw this girl, the second edition, this summer, when I was buying some Disney Descendants, I was like, ooh, I need her. She has really cantankerous hair, like it's cowlicky, but they're really awesome. Then we have the Project MC Squared dolls. I have loved these since the first time I saw them at Toys R Us in like 2015, I think. But I couldn't justify the price for them because they were kind of expensive, so I would love to have more, but they just never go on sale around here, and now they're discontinued, so that's why I only have 3. But my first was 2015 Core Michaela. She's just like a slim box doll. Now these two are both from the same wave. This is Cameron Coyle. And they are both on like the standard bodies with no articulation. There are versions of Michaela actually that were made for Big Lots that don't have the inset eyes. They have painted features. I know, really weird, right? I got her at Marshall's. She was kind of discounted, and then we were out shopping with my friend Lisa that day, and she had a gift card with a few dollars left that she let us have. She appears in one of my first episodes of Dolly Diaries, and we actually took her into the pizza place with us after. I mean, she was in my bag, but I didn't want to leave her in the car, and I had opened her in the car, and Lisa just didn't care. She was like, whatever. She's not a doll collector, but she
like, oh,
tolerates
my friends
it.
are at it again.
She kind of finds it amusing. Then I got Cameron at the very end of 2018. She was in my last Dolly transformations from last year. We got her at this local charity store for $2, I think. And this is my newest baby and probably my favorite. This is Lemon Soap Experiment Adrian, and she has this awesome pink tipped hair. We got her one of the last weeks at the flea market. She was sealed in her box, and she was $10, which was a good deal because she retailed for like $20, $25. But I was feeling kind of cheap that day, but Colleen convinced me to go back and grab her, and I'm really glad she did. And she looks way prettier without these ridiculous glasses. Like, yeah, let's take those off, girlfriend. The Starr dolls. These were released in the late 70s by Mattel. They're really weird looking. They're kind of like the original Generation girls, if you're familiar with them from the late 90s. So they only had one version of each character, so these three are all Starr. So this was my first Starr here in the middle. I first heard about these dolls when I got back into collecting in 2011. I saw them in one of my 30 years of Mattel Fashion Dolls collector book. Fell in love, like old Generation girls need. And I remember stalking them on eBay and everything. So when she popped up secondhand for $2 at a flea market, I had to get her. She was one of the filthiest dolls ever. Like, she was coated in dirt and was naked. But I still had to have her. She is in really nice shape despite that. This is a Barbie fashion. And then her friend here, she was wearing a Marie Osmond fashion pack, and I got her a year later at the flea market because I wanted another Starr doll. And then my newest lady here who has her original outfit, she was in a haul video from this year. I got Starr and this beautiful Tracy, and also this Cindy doll, who we'll talk about more later, in a little case. It was mostly just Starr stuff, and the guy only wanted 12, and I got it for 10, something like that. It's in the video, and I was really excited because they had their outfits, and they turned out to have almost all their accessories, even the paper stuff. It was amazing. So then we have Kelly. This is a Starr fashion pack, not her original outfit. I got Kelly from the Tycho Eric guy at the flea market. The cool thing about her is when I found her head floating around, I didn't think her body was in the bin, but then I found a Marie Osmond doll who had the body, and I asked the guy if I could swap her onto the proper body, and he said I could. She's the prettiest, in my opinion. And like I said, I got Tracy with that Starr. She's kind of ugly, but I really, really wanted her because one of the first Starr dolls I saw, like even before I had this lady, was a Tracy, but she was missing a hand because they have articulated hands. And I wanted to buy her, but she didn't have her clothes. She was missing a hand. I knew I wouldn't get a hand likely, so I had to leave her behind. So I'm really glad to have her. And then last but not least is Sean. He is all strung and he is super loose, so I apologize for that. This is a Ken outfit. We got him from Mulan Lady at the flea market in 2013. I knew who he was the moment I saw him. Colleen didn't know. She was like, who is that ugly guy doll you want to buy? But I don't know. He's creepy, but I love him.
We actually got some of his accessories, but not his outfit, in the bin with Tracy.
Yeah. Pippa's friend Britt. So Pippa dolls were kind of made to compete with Dawn dolls. They're very similar. They have articulated knees though. That's a good hint that you're dealing with a Pippa doll and a different manufacturer. She's wearing a Tricky Mickey outfit if you're wondering. She was in the Bead Blast Barbie lot of 2015 at the flea market. She was the only 70s thing in the bin, but I fell in love with her because she looks like a little mini Malibu Barbie, and I just didn't have the heart to donate her, so I kept her. And then we have Leggy Jill. Leggy dolls are these really weird, long-legged things that were released in the 70s. If you watched one of my most popular transformation videos, the $5 bin bonanza, we got 2 bins for $5 each that same day. She was from the second bin that had 70s and 80s dolls and clothes. So these are actually Leggy pants. They didn't come with her, but they're from a fashion pack. Honey Hill Bunch IQ. doll made by Mattel from the 70s. Got her in the Ken suitcase bin in 2016, and I fell in love with her because she's a sweet little Asian doll, and I named her Soo Young after the character in Rush Hour because we used to watch that movie all the time with Dad, and I think she looks just like her, and she's adorable. And then we have Cindy. She is the 1978 Cindy, produced by Mark's Toys. So Cindy dolls here in the U.S. are not as common as they are in, like, say, the United Kingdom. That's why you don't see, like, me have a lot of them. This company only made them for about a year, and I got her, like I said, in that case with the Starr dolls, and this is just a random homemade outfit thing I found, and she looks adorable, and she was actually Ted's surrogate sister until we found the real Tammy.
We named her Marcella because she reminds us of this Marcella paper doll we got with our Raggedy Ann and Andy a long time ago.
Yes.
Shara,
the
Glamour Girl.
Glamour Girl, Shara
and Baby Blue.
And Baby Blue, okay. Now, she's not like a doll to us. She's actually a doll we gave to Colleen's Kid Core Katie's, so she appears as a prop. But I did identify her because one of my friends on Flickr, Cheryl, she had a bunch of hers photographed, and I recognized
And what
her.
made me realize that she was one of the kind of the dolls that Cheryl had posted was these feet, because they have these like molded shoes. I actually vouched that we kept her as one of Katie's toys way back when Shelly got one of her Francie dolls.
Yeah, she was in a bin of like mangy body parts mostly.
I vouched for her because, like Shelly was saying about Britt, she kind of looks like a little tiny Malibu Barbie to me.
Now this is Colleen's first doll ever. This is Princess Magic Touch Marshalla. Her real name's not Marshalla. Her real name's just Princess Magic Touch, but Colleen named her Marshalla. And these were produced in the 80s by this company called Coleco. This is a Kelly fashion.
I just know that I had her even before I had my first Barbie, that her dress was always falling apart. She came with the bird, and that I played with her before I had a Barbie, and when I got Dila, my first Barbie, I played with the two of them together.
And I did reroot her. Her original hair had been cut, and it was disgusting. She's cute, though. So then we have Lifestyle Horse Riding Cassie. So the Cassie dolls were produced by this company called Hornby in the 90s, and they were sold with like little cassette kind of packaging that you were meant to use as like scenes and things. She's really hard to identify, but the horse one has like super curly hair like mine. I got her in 2013 in the paper bag lot. Now this is one of the coolest dolls in my collection that you guys have no idea I have, but she was actually made an appearance in the second video on this channel. She is from Ken Suitcase Bin. She is an authentic Japanese Barbie. So in Japan, they have the Jenny dolls as well as others. And she is produced by this company called Takara, and she is a 2000 kimono Lobelia, or also packaged as Lobelia. Took a long time to identify her. She has like one of those bodies where everything is bendy. I don't have her outfit, and I have no idea like how this kid had this doll, but they also had one of the Barbies in India that was only sold in India, so I'm assuming they did some traveling. So it's really cool because she is, like, these dolls, some of them are featured in collector books, and I was always really curious.
Her name because at some point in the Kane Chronicles by Rick Riordan, there's this joke about someone named Lobelia, and I just keep hearing my audiobook saying Lobelia.
So then we have my two Mini Kingdom Annalises. This is just basic Mini Kingdom Annalise. I got her in the $5 bin Bonanza. The lot with the 2000s and 90s Barbies that smelled like cigarettes. And then this is the 5 quick snap-on fashions Annalise that I got in the Labor Day Ladies lot. So she had some fabric clothes and snap-on clothes. They're really cute. I'm a sucker for the Princess and the Pauper. I had the regular dolls as a kid, so had to keep the minis. MGA released a line of princess-themed dolls in the mid-2000s, in 2006, and this is their Swan Princess. I had no idea they manufactured these until Colleen just found her on eBay one night, and she told me, Shelly, you have to come in here and see this amazing doll. She is so beautiful and really well made. They made like Fiona and the Princess and the Pea and Rapunzel. They made some really cool ones, so you can search up like MGA princess dolls and they appear. She is really awesome, and she is on display in my room, so she has a stand. And I got her in 2013. Then this is a Steffi Love doll that we got from the Barbie Bunch lot. from a local seller this year. It was kind of more like a package deal than a lot. He was tired of carrying all his dolls around all summer, and he convinced us to buy them at a discounted price. Now, Steffi Love dolls have been around for a long time, since the 90s, and based on her body mold, she's probably from the early 2000s, but there's really no way for us to know which one because they're generic. But she is really cute and pretty. Harbor Trade is like a clone doll company that produced a bunch of princess packs in like the early 2010s. So this is supposed to be Cinderella. Some had blonde hair. They had different like hair color variants. Ken Suitcase Guy actually gave us this doll because he found her with his stuff and he just said, oh, here, you can have her. I know you guys like dolls. So I made her like this headband and this little necklace. We call her Snowella because she looks like Snow White and Cinderella combined. Our two other clone dolls. These are made by Greenbrier International Inc. These are from the dollar store from 2015. So at Christmas, we have a relative named Ray who gets us Barbies for Christmas, like one each, and he found these at the dollar store and he thought that they were really nice, and so he got them for us, which was really sweet. So they're very, very special despite the fact that they only cost $1. So I made them each earrings, and this is Tamara and this is Tia. We named them after the twins, the Maori twins, because they kind of look like them. And then we have with my Disney Descendants dolls. So we have Signature Mal. I got her and Genie Chic Evie with my 86 Megan and Sundance doll from the seller at the local flea market. Apparently his daughter collected Disney Descendants, but whenever she got like duplicates, say as gifts, she would have her dad sell them for her so she could put the money towards other dolls, which I mean, I guess that's smart, but as a kid I would have kept the duplicate. So I really, really, really wanted the Descendants dolls since I heard they were coming out, but they didn't wow me as much in stores, but now that I have them, they're definitely cool and definitely like worth it. This is my first Disney Descendants doll. This is Isle Style Switch Mouse. She's wearing a Barbie fashion. Colleen had a coworker who knew we liked dolls. Word kind of got around. So when her daughters were done with their dolls, she brought in a bag of stuff for Colleen. And then about like a week later, she found this Mal, and she was wearing the live-action Cinderella wedding dress we needed for that doll we had gotten the week before. She's awesome. She has rotating hair. Then we have Signature Jane. I got her from that elderly couple at the flea market this summer. And I also got my Signature Evie from them as well, but on a different day, the day we got the oldie moldies lot. And you can see I made both my Evie's earrings because theirs were missing. I always wanted Signature Evie. Snow White's one of my favorite princesses, and I just love the look of this doll. So I was really excited to find the signature version, and I knew they had one, but I thought she had sold, but they put her out again, and I was so excited. So we hope you guys enjoyed this video and meeting all of our oddball dolls. And like I said at the beginning, if you want to see pictures of them or read additional information, feel free to check out my Flickr. And until next time, love your dolls, love yourself, and love your life.